It's time for the Fighters Voice Radio Show with your fighting host, Richard Ortiz, and the formidable co-host, Cole Escovedo. Fighters Voice Radio Show.
Fresno, California. We're live here in Mad Productions Studios. We got a great show for you tonight. Tonight we're going to recap last weekend's fight with Ringaroos, Regis Prograis, and Josh Taylor. Man, they threw down and went the full distance. We're going to talk about that fight. We're also going to talk about now we have two unified champions in the 140-pound division. You got Jose Ramirez, who has the WBC WBO Super Lightweight Championship of the world, and you also got the IBF in the WBA 140-pound Super Lightweight Champion of the world, and that's Josh Taylor. We'll talk about the collision course, and we're going to talk about Mikey Garcia, who called this fight right down the middle. He predicted the fight, predicted the outcome, and it was right down the middle. And with us in studio by way of phone call, we got one of the youngest contenders, prospects here all over the world, who's traveled the whole world. And I had the privilege and honor of calling his fight back in, I believe it was about a year and a half ago, man. I got some old school footage, and we're going to be talking to our guests. And before I announce our guests, we're going to be going over some UFC fights that'll be coming up this Saturday. Diaz, and we got the one and only gangster to see who is the true and only gangster, because that's what he wants to call himself. And then we're going to talk about Kovalev, the Crusher, and Canelo. Rich Ortiz, all by myself, because I do want to say Carol the Cut Woman. I usually say she's on assignment, but my gosh, she's on a chance of a lifetime, an opportunity. She's at the UK. She'll be working the fight corner for one of her fighters. I believe it's Rodney Hernandez, heavyweight fighter, and Carol's going to be working the corner. She went all the way down to the UK, 18-hour flight. She should be there today, because I did text her and say, hey, I'm on one of those cool shirts that say something like, I don't know, London boxing or something, something straight from the UK. And it's funny because I'll tell you a story. She went over there and she's rocking Jose Ramirez's t-shirt. So I want to see how that goes over there in the UK, rocking Jose Ramirez's t-shirt, who's the Avenal kid, the pride of Fresno, and, the people's champion, so to speak. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we start our show, man, I want to introduce our guest. He has a colorful record, 12 wins, 0 losses, 7 knockouts, featherweight, 126-pounder. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the one, the only, Mr. Victor, the Tornado Morales Jr. Or I said it wrong. How should I say it? Victor?
El Tornado.
El Tornado. El Tornado. El Tornado. ¿Te gusta? I got to roll my tongues a little bit better, man. I got to work on it. I said, you like it? I got to roll on my tongues, man. I got to make that effort, man. I got to get it done right.
Hey, we all got to make the effort too, right? I'm still learning. I'm still doing what I got to do, and I'm learning my Spanish just as much as everybody else is.
Hey, man, you're the only white boy Mexican that I know that can get down, man. I mean, I love it. I love what you're doing, man. You're doing really well, man. I mean, Victor Morales Jr. We've talked about you coming on the show, and as your career started to blossom and prosper and take off. And the first time I met you was about a year and a half ago. I think I did the Oregon show. I was doing some commentating there. And I watched it. I did some commentary on your fight. And the first thing that I've noticed, and that I noticed in a lot of these young fighters that continue to grow and prosper, is their footwork. And you had phenomenal footwork. I remember telling your dad that, and a couple other people, once I saw your fight. So
thank you.
Oh, man, you're welcome, man. I mean, so check this out. You had the opportunity to sign with Golden Boy. I'm sorry, with Top Rank, because I remember they were interested in you. You were underneath a couple of their cards. But you waited it out, man. I mean, your dad just didn't make a rational decision who kind of looks over your career. And you waited, and you got the one you wanted, and that's Golden Boy. It was a good fit for you. So tell us about that fit and how you got that signing onto Golden Boy.
Yeah, we've had a few different offers from, a few different places. I had some people looking into us, and it was just, the process, the waiting process. And I knew at the end of the day that, I could sign with anybody, but it wouldn't be the same if I didn't sign with my childhood dream promoter and my favorite fighter growing up, and that's Oscar De La Hoya. So being able to sign with them and going through that whole process of just waiting it out. My dad always said, your time is going to come. Just wait. Trust me. Keep working hard. and stay focused, and it's going to come, I promise. And sure enough, it came. And I'm just excited to, finally go out and make my Golden Boy debut on November 23rd at the Fantasy Springs Casino.
Yeah, we're going to be promoting that. We're going to be watching you fight by way of DAZN TV, and wish we can get down there. You never know, man. You never know. You're possibly going to give you a call and say, Richard, get over here. I need your help, or I need you to bring your team over here, and let's take care of this. Because I met your dad a long time ago, and I remember whenever he sees me, he says, you're the real one. He said, you're a real one, Richard. And I take that as a strong compliment, because I say that in my mind about a few people, as opposed to a few other things that I say that's not too real, or I wouldn't call him the real one. But no, your dad's a cool person, man. I mean, allow me to have what did we have together? Lunch? Yeah, we did have lunch. Met your mom.
Yeah, I think we all had lunch together.
Yeah, I remember that, man. And I was always impressed with the way you dressed after the fight and how you conducted yourself as such, as a true professional. Even outside of the ring, you had time for all your fans, and your parents were right there, and just making sure they're watching every single move and watching everybody that approaches you and how you handle yourself. And I was listening to some of the fans, their feedback, and just the compliments that they were saying after they met you, as opposed to inside the ring. You were taking care of business. You're a different person, man. And I know that has a lot to do with your upbringing, man. Tell us about your upbringing as a kid.
Well, as a kid, I mean, I was pretty much raised old school, and that's in the case that not everything was given to me at all. Everything that I got, I worked for. My parents were decently hard on all of us, but, in good ways, to be, have strong morals. And one thing that my dad and my family always taught me was that there's two things that I have: my word and my last name. And I pretty much go with that, and I take that and run. Loyalty is everything, and that's just how I grow up, and to be real. And, we say it all the time that you're real, and we love what you do, and all the support that we get from you.
And that's I don't want to say easy work, man, but it just falls in place. Because when I see somebody that has a good background, that's morally, their feet on the ground, and they're driven, and I just know without a shadow of a doubt it's a success story, and it's going to blossom, and it's going to come to pass. I want to be a part of it, because I like to surround myself with positive energy. And, iron sharpens iron, and I love to be around good people, man. That's what it boils down to. Nobody that's just fronting, or nobody that just does what they got to do, because sometimes, this is an ugly business. I mean, you're involved in the sweet science, which is a disgusting business, and that's called boxing. But I love it. I'm passionate about it, and so are you. So in life, when you want something, you got to be able to survive those obstacles, overcome those obstacles, to stay in the lane and stay on your journey and on your task, and that's winning a world title. So you're on your way, and your dad has taught you well, and he's continuing to teach you well and learn as you go.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And going back to, what you said is there's always those obstacles in life. I mean, you mentioned earlier that my footwork is top quality, and that you love my footwork, and that, a lot of people love my footwork. But, when I was little, I didn't even have my feet. I mean, I had a meningitis scare that left me paralyzed.
Oh, wow.
From my waist down for a pretty long time, and I had to relearn how to walk, how to run, how to keep my balance. And again, when I was younger. And so, for me to turn around and make that a strength, that's just the beginning of something amazing. I can tell you that much.
What I do want to ask you is, tell me about your first professional fight, and I'm asking you that now only because you told me you overcome adversity, learning how to walk, and learning your skill set, and knowing that you've overcome all that. What was going through your stomach? What was going through your mind as soon as that first bell rang? Because you already had that amateur pedigree and background. So your first professional fight, walk us through it.
Well, leading up to it, it was definitely going back to maybe even my first amateur fight. I mean, I was just nervous. The lead up to everything, the weigh-in, everything was just, it's the same sport once the bell rings, but really everything else is just completely different. And so I was nervous, I'm not going to lie. I was nervous going into it. The ring walk, everything was different. And, you just never know what's going to happen going into, your first pro fight. no headgear, smaller gloves, against somebody that I didn't even know that I was fighting, because that opponent was the last second opponent I actually trained for a southpaw that fight. But once I got in there, once I got into the ring, everything was the exact same. Everything flowed back into it, and that's when adversity hit, and that's when I broke my hand in my first fight.
Oh, wow.
I think the first round. And after I fought 6 fights with a broken hand that was trying to heal.
Yeah, that's the young part of your career. I actually know some guys that have some hand injuries, and right now they're on the shelf, and they are. I mean, they're ready to make that comeback. But you know, the sport of boxing, it's all about opportunity, and it's all about what have you done for me lately. You're as good as your last outing, win, lose, or draw. And for you to overcome that early, as far as being able to walk, and even with the injured hand, and the best thing to do, man, and it's hard for boxing, is rest so you can heal. Because I don't think you've ever, as a fighter, go into a match completely 100%, healthy.
That's exactly it. You never go in 100%, and that's what I like to tell a lot of the fighters that are locally when they start to complain about they're hurt, or their head hurts, or they have a stomach ache. I said, look, you're going to go into a fight and you're not going to be 100%. I can count on one hand how many times I went into a fight, pro or amateur, 100%. And that's just the truth of the sport. But like you said, something that we don't like to do is take a step back and rest for a second, let it heal, and go back to work. And I just didn't do that, for the first 6 or 7 pro fights that I had. I just wanted to keep staying busy and racking up those wins. But I eventually caught that time that I had to rest my hand. I changed up some padding and how I was wrapping my hands.
Yeah, that's smart.
And we've been great since then. My first fight back with 2 hands was a stoppage, and that's when the stoppage streak came back.
There you go. I look at your work ethic, man, and I mean, you're always out there grinding. You're always out there trying different workouts as far as for conditioning, and you always put in 100%, man. I've noticed some of the stuff that's being posted. I've done my homework. I've watched some of your stuff, and you don't dog a play. You don't take a second off, man. I mean, you continue to work hard, and making that transition, because I know you were injured at one point. Is because honestly, I was looking forward to this, and I'll tell you a quick story. It never came to pass, and I'm glad. And it didn't hit me until I got a phone call. Right, Isidro from Fresno, California. He calls me and says, "Hey, Richard, hey, guess what? I'm fighting Victor Morales." And I said, "Oh, okay, good, bud." I go, "Man, that's good. That's good," because he would always give me, as soon as information would come out, he'd always give me a call, let me know. Mm-hmm. And it didn't hit me. It didn't hit me until I'm sitting in the garage and I'm cleaning up, and I'm going, hold on a second, Victor Morales. So I called Isidro right back, and I said, "Are you talking about that kid, Victor Morales?" He goes, "Yeah, him." Okay, and I had already posted something like, before I found out who the opponent is, "Hey, I wish you well. I'm in your corner. I'm looking forward to this fight." And, as soon as they were going to announce it, boom. I call your dad. I said, "Hey, I need to talk to you right now. Can you call me right now?" He calls me. And I said, "Sir, let me explain something to you." And I told him the whole story. I said, I didn't put 2 and 2 together until it was your son. And I said, "Okay, this is the card I'm going to play. I'm going to put one up of Victor as well. And then I'm just going to stay back and leave it alone. Because I'm close to both of you guys. I respect both of you. And there's a different closeness once I'm brought into the family circle, as I was with Isidro, as I was with you." So I remember your dad was just laughing. He goes, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And I go, "Yeah, I am." I put that out there without even thinking, because I remember your nickname, but when Isidro called me, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I go, "Oh, okay, bud, that's good. That's pretty good. That's good. You know anything about him?" "Oh, he's tough. He's undefeated." And it wasn't until maybe 7 minutes after that conversation is when it all went down. But I'm glad that fight didn't take place, honestly. I really am. I mean, as a fan, you would want to see it. But where I was sitting at, I didn't look forward to that fight. And I was being honest with you. Yes, it did. It did.
And you know what? Things happen for a reason. Some things went down, and they got canceled, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason, and look where we both are now.
Yeah, exactly.
Will that fight take place in the future? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so.
But like I said, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And that is what it is.
Yeah, it did put me in a weird place, and it was kind of I'm just glad your dad was so understanding because in this business, people get so butthurt, they get their feelings hurt, and this is a tough business, and they just it is what it is. People get feelings hurt. They're very sensitive.
That's one thing we have. We have tough skin, and we know at the end of the day that it's all business.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. It's business, and we have tough skin, and that's why we're able to dodge so many sharks and so many different obstacles that were put in front of us because we have tough skin and it's the business. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I'm posting a picture right now. Oh yeah, with you and Freddie Roach and you, Sean Porter, and you and myself, and you got that nice suit on. And actually, the shirt I'm wearing the shirt your dad gave me, and I don't just wear it.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I pulled up the link on my phone.
That's what's up.
And I saw that you were wearing my shirt, so thank you for
that.
Oh
yeah, no, definitely. And I'm going to be honest with you, as I say to a lot of people. Honestly, I get a lot of shirts. And back in the day, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take that shirt. I'll take that hat. I'm very selective on the shirts that I get. And a lot of, not to hurt anybody's feelings, when I get shirts, I give them away. I really do. I keep the ones that I really like. And it's not about the design, it's what it stands for. And I'm very selective on a lot of things. My team loves it because they get shirts. I'll give them to them. If it's something that I really like, I'll keep it. I said, no, I'm going to hold on to this. I won't say anything. I don't say, okay, what size are you, or I'm going to give it away. They already know it's a wrap, and I'm wearing it, and I'm keeping it. So, yeah. And besides, you got different styles. Every time you got a fight, you got different shirts coming out. I like that. I like your gear.
That's exactly it. I like to look different every fight.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much that when I was fighting so often. I was fighting a lot more than I was now. So now I'm going to be on TV. I like to look different in every single fight with different colors, and that's just how I like to be now.
No, I mean, just the way you conduct yourself after the fight. Since day one, the way you conduct yourself after the fight is the way a true champion needs to conduct himself. Professional inside and outside of the ring, making time for their supporters, their fans, and followers, and you've been doing that. You've been doing that. I've covered your fights. Actually had the pleasure of being able to announce you at a Top Rank event when we had, I believe, at Tachi Palace.
Yes. Yep. That was I remember that.
And your opponent, man, that was a good fight, man. He had a hard head. He didn't want to go anywhere, and you had to just keep pounding him until they saw enough, man. But no, you laid into him. That was a good fight. Actually, his chin was too good for his will, man.
Yeah, exactly it. I think that might have been my coming back fight from my broken hand. Honestly, that might have been the first fight I had two hands.
Yeah. I think for that fight you were with the Flores camp for a little bit.
Yeah, we were doing some things with them, and yeah, we were friends with them. We were working with them at the time.
Yeah. Actually, Young Gabriel's going to be fighting here in Fresno. That's November 9th. Top Rank event. He'll be one of the featured bouts, and in the main event, you got Jamal Herring. He'll be defending his WBO title. And Fresno, California, man. I mean, they're making it happen. Top Rank Boxing promoter Rick Meridian putting it together, and he's nonstop. He's on the grind, and that's the type of people you need to surround yourself with. Because when the hard work, it becomes contagious, and you need that support, even that mental support. When you see other people doing things, it rubs off on you. And it either wakes you up, or I've always said, when you see somebody that's really good at what they're doing, two things are going to happen. You're going to want to quit, or you're going to want to work harder. And if you quit, it's because you're intimidated on the success they have. So you need to gather yourself and just work harder. And your time will come as you work differently and be who you want to be. I mean, you can follow other people's footsteps, but at the end of the day, it's your reflection that you see in the mirror, Yeah,
that's exactly it.
So let's talk about that day. Let's talk about that day that you get the phone call. Let's talk about that day that Oscar De La Hoya contacts you, that Gomez contacts you, that matchmaker Diaz contacts you, your dad, and you get the good news. What were you doing when you got that call and said, hey, I think they want to meet with us. I think they want to sit down with us?
Well, it didn't all just start from a phone call. I know that my management had brought my name up a few times, and they said, yeah, we'll look into them. And my manager telling them all the good things about me, and it's just different when you get to see it in person.
Yeah.
So I flew down to Fantasy Springs at I think his nickname is Chongo.
Okay.
He fights in Fantasy Springs, He's a 130-pound world titleist. I flew down to his last fight to support one of my stablemates in my management team, Aaron McKenna.
Okay.
And I showed up there in a suit, nice suit, like I always do. And I was sitting there by the fights, and that's when Robert walked over to me, and he said, "Man, you look fly." He said, "You're probably one of the best-looking kids here." And from there, I think, we had gone into talking, and that's, pretty much when he saw that, the talk that they had been talking and everyone, what they had been saying about me, it was true. And that, I was very professional. I was talking good. I, didn't show up and, I didn't act like a gangster. I didn't show up dressing like a gangster or anything like that. I showed up professional in a suit and everything, and that's exactly what they said they needed and that they wanted from another, from a fighter.
Yeah.
And so, once I got home, we had gotten the call that they wanted to meet up with us, and that, that was it. We went and met up with them, and we figured out a deal in the last, took us about 2 months or so to figure out a deal, and now we're signed, so now we get to fight for him.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, your boss is Oscar De La Hoya, and that whole team, that whole Golden Boy team, man, they work real hard for their fighters, for their clients, and that is the business. And you do your job, and they'll do theirs. And hey, man, I mean, Golden Boy's taking off. I mean, you got a Golden Boy event this Saturday, and I believe your dad's going to be there doing something, or I might have heard that.
We're going to be there, actually, this week. Later this week, we're going to be doing some media stuff, getting my face out there, promoting my fight, and then I'll be at the weigh-in and at the fight, at the Canelo fight. So
that's awesome, man.
I'm excited.
That's awesome. I'm in the wrong business, man. Maybe I should be a fighter or something so I can get signed with Golden Boy. And I get some credentials to go watch that stuff, man. But no. And just like you, my time will come, man. I'll go cover some of those big fights right there. I know I can, and I know I can get the job done. But watching, young cats like you, man, and your dad, after talking to your dad about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and he was just patient. He said, we're waiting, and we're going to do it the right way. He kept saying, we're going to do it the right way. And the confidence that he had in the tone in his voice. I mean, you believed him. He was very sincere. He was very passionate and truthful on what he said. So I would always listen to him. I'd always take note on what he would say. I'd go out of my way to say hello, and he'd go out of his way to say hello. I was courteous. I was, saying hello, calling, texting. I always keep up, I get busy just like he does too. And he'll say, hey, anything going on? I said, nah, just keep it in contact, my man, as always.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's, we had a game plan. He had a game plan for my whole career, and it was just to stay busy in the early stages. And like I said earlier, the time was going to come.
Yeah.
And it came, and now I got to show up and perform. So I'm excited. There
you go, man. I think there's going to be what's the ring announcer's name? I think it's Jeremiah Gallegos, I believe. Kind of short cat. He's a ring announcer for Golden Boy. This guy got $1 million voice, my man. I mean, this guy, when I see another ring announcer that's just kicking butt, man, I mean, when he says your name, man, you're going to know it's going to bring the house down. Because he has a certain personality and he has a certain wit about him, and he just brings it down, man. So a plug for Jeremiah, man. He's making it happen. So,
I believe it.
Yeah. So what outfit are you wearing, man? I mean, you always kind of pull some new gear. What color are you coming in with this time? What do you got up your hat? What do you got up your sleeve this time?
I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna come out in white and red.
Okay.
But I have a little bit, I have a little bit of a thing coming. I don't usually post the outfit until I actually get it. It's being made right now.
Okay.
And so I'll probably be posting it here in the next few weeks.
Okay.
But it's gonna be white and red, and yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
Who does your outfits? I'm just curious.
What was that?
Who does your outfits? Who designs your outfits? Who puts them together for you?
My fight kit gets done by a lady in New Jersey.
Okay.
I'm probably going to kill the name right here, so I'm sorry if I do. It's Rakanati, I believe. Boxing does the same stuff for the Charlo brothers, Errol Spence.
Okay.
I think she's done Adrian Broner's for the last few fights.
Well, I'm just saying, man, okay? One day, if you can't get a hold of her, man, you got to get a hold of my man, Chris. Styles Make Fights out of the L.A. area. And then you also got a hold of my dude, Junior, I Got My Own Back. He designed the shorts for Canelo's upcoming fight, and he did Drago's shorts on Creed, and Styles Make Fights for the heavyweight champion Andy Reese on his last fight. So just giving those two guys a plug, man. I mean, you know, and it's
For
always
sure.
it's always
Like you
it's
said,
always good to know.
Always looking for, there's always a different style to look
Absolutely.
for. I'm happy with the work that I'm getting right now.
Hey, if it's not broken, don't
If
fix
I
it, my man.
definitely
If it's
need-
not
if I wanna
broken,
move
don't
around-
fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, thank you for the names.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely going to keep them in
Well, I
mind.
mean,
for
I had to
future
throw that in there, and I really did mean it. And I'm not trying to pull you away from it. I just want to give my dudes a plug and let them know, because I did
you gotta
hit
do
them
what you
both up,
gotta
man.
do.
I hit them both up. I hit up I Got My Own Back. I hit up Styles Make Fights, and I said I want a black blazer, black on black, the fighter's voice. And I know they're busy, but Chris, Junior, put the phone down, okay? Make some time for your boy right here, for your dude right here. Actually, I got to bring them both on the show. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something different. Because usually you bring somebody on the show, and it could be a fighter fighting a fighter, right? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to bring Styles Make Fights, and I Got My Own Back at the same time. And they could just talk about who designs what and what's what and pick each other's brain. Never in history have you had two designers on at the same time. And you know why I'm going to do that, Victor? You know why?
Why is that?
Because I can, and I will. The fighter's voice, the only voice that matters, because we're simply knocking out the competition, just like you, my man.
That's exactly it.
Now, we like to have fun here, man. I mean, within control, we love to have fun, and we don't just, we're not your ordinary show. Like, I haven't even talked about your skill set inside the ring. I've been talking about your personal life, because I want the viewers and fans to know exactly. A lot of people didn't even know you faced adversity where you were partially paralyzed from the waist down. A lot of people didn't know. I didn't know. So your whole fight begun way before that damn bell ever rang.
Like you said, I've always had to fight through something. That's just how it is, and I just think that's God putting different obstacles in my way to make
Yes, sir.
sure that I'm strong enough for the next thing. Because there's always going to be something stronger and something that's going to be harder for me to overcome, and I think that's just what He's preparing me for. Is the next obstacle.
Well, I want to know about, we talked about the next obstacle, the next fight. I want to talk about what's the next car. My man, because I seen you in some freaking classics, and then I seen the BMW, I seen the Mercedes, and it's nice. And I know your dad likes those lowriders, man, and those are clean, man. Talk to us about that car collection.
Well, that's just something that my dad is putting to us. Is my whole family loves cars, especially not my youngest brothers, but the one right under me.
Yeah.
We just love cars. He has a show car of his own.
Yeah.
My dad has a lowrider.
That's
we
right.
Have, cars. I have my Mustang.
That red one,
and
right?
He just loves cars.
Yeah.
The red one. Yep.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. Hey.
We love cars. That's it.
No, hey, that's good, man. I'm just giving you a hard time, man, because those are nice. Those are nice automobiles, and they're very well kept. And when your dad's in that car, man, you could just see the joy in his face, man. It's like, okay, all the bets are off. Now it's just me. I'm relaxing. This is me. This is my time. This is what I like to do.
Hey, he worked all his life to have something that he always wanted, and now he has it. And
Amen to
he
that.
definitely enjoys it. Gets the chance. That's for sure.
Yeah, I got to hook up with your dad again, man. He's always a joy and fun to be around. And the next time in this area, I definitely got to look him up, or maybe on one of these breaks, because I'm going to go up there and hit up some gyms, to get some content for the fighter's voice. And I'm going to have to hook up with him. I got to pick your brain a little bit, man. Last Saturday, we had the undefeated Regis Rigaru Prograis taking on Josh Taylor, who's also undefeated in the UK. And these guys just went at it. They left everything inside of the ring. What were your thoughts going into the fight? And is it the outcome that you thought it would be on when that final bell rang?
Well, I knew that it was going to be a good fight. I know there was a scorecard in there that was a little off.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the looks of it,
I think that
even
scorekeeper
the
was a
ref
little
thought it
off.
off.
Yeah, that scorekeeper was a little off too.
But you know what? It was a good fight. It was a good unification.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to see what's in the future for Josh Taylor. I think that he has the two belts now, and I think there's one person in his way to grab one more, and that's Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, actually, Jose has two of them. Josh has two of them. Jose has two of them. So that's going to be something that's be very exciting in the year 2020.
That's exactly it.
So, KP, do we have that footage of Mikey Garcia talking? Yes. Because I'm going to roll something real quick. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it or not, but you'll be able to see it on the YouTube. He was a guest a week before, and I asked him, what's your take on Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis? And this is what he had to say. Go ahead and roll that.
Me personally, I think this fight will probably go 12 rounds, and if it does go 12 rounds, then we're looking at Taylor as the winner, just by boxing. But, I mean...
It kind of stopped a little bit. Okay. Okay, well, I kind of missed that, but maybe you saw it. I asked him who's going to win the fight, and he said, he broke it down for both of them, but he said, personally, Richard, I have this thing going 12 rounds with Josh Taylor, the winner. And prior to that, he was giving description on what the keys to victory from each man would be if they were to be victorious. But he said, Richard, personally, I'm going with Josh Taylor, 12-round decision, and right on his word, my man. So do you think these guys will run it back, Victor?
I think they should. You know what? At the end of the day, it's going to be a business, and I know that they're not going to give Regis Prograis, an easy comeback.
No.
Business-wise, to come and get that fight back again, right now. I think that they're going to try and capture those. I think they're going to try and work the Jose Ramirez unification, and I think that's just business-wise probably the best move for Josh Taylor. Should they run it back? Absolutely. But in the business, it's probably not going to happen, at least not right now.
No, I agree with you. And, Regis was in good spirits afterwards. Great sportsmanship, admit, and said, hey, the best man won. What could I say? What could I do? It was one hell of a fight. He thanked London, thanked everybody, Eddie Hearn, everybody that was involved in such a professional manner for the opportunity. And, he left everything in the ring. There's nothing more he could have done. We could sit back and say, I wish he would have done this, I wish he would have done that. But at the end of the day, we're not inside the ring. We're not at all.
Exactly.
I'm a big supporter of him.
Yeah. He saw things that he couldn't do, and he saw things that he could do. And that's just how, that's how you adjust to the game plan.
Exactly.
And from what he's seen, I'm sure he has different things to say now that he's seen the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, after the fight, he felt like he put it all out there, and I believe him. And he's going to go back and go back to the drawing board.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you a quick funny story, man. Okay, this whole area is all Jose Ramirez. All Jose Ramirez. So when they would mention Regis Prograis, I mean, he was anybody that was in Jose's weight division. People in this area were not a fan. So I had him on the show a couple of times, and I was a supporter of him because I liked what he did. I was a fan of what he did outside of the ring. I mean, jumping off a plane, swimming with sharks, playing with alligators, putting the gloves on at Big Five store and just going toe-to-toe. He was just living life. I love that personality about him. So I was a supporter about him. And when I would bump into people at the store, the gas station, or on my own time, and they would say, dude, why are y'all supporting Regis? Why him? He's not even from here. This is the name of the sport that we're involved in. How do I hate or dislike a man that shows mad love, mad respect, and a fan of the fighter's voice? I mean, because somebody at a gas station had something to say, or someone at a supermarket had something to say. Hey, at the end of the day, man, we're all human beings. We do what we need to do. Business is conducted before you get inside the ring, and once it's the final bells went off, it is what it is. There's no enemies here, and nothing but friendships and respectful relationships. So, I still want to have him on the show. I reached out to him today, and he said, yeah. He goes, let me just, get back, get everything rolling, and I want to hear his side of the story. Nice guy.
Yeah, that's it. Just because he's not from that area and they don't like him doesn't mean that you can't do any work with him or any business with him.
Absolutely.
Or just like him at that point. You got to, he's a good fighter. He's a good person. And that's, like you said, why not?
Exactly. And, and he told me off the record, man, and I'm going to kill that whole rivalry. He said, I got nothing against Jose. He just happened to have a belt. I wanted it. It could have been anybody else. Because I got no beef with him. I respect him. And a lot of people don't know. I asked him, who's going to win, Jose or his last fight for the unification fight? He said, I got Jose. He goes, I got Ramirez. That's what he told me. And so, I mean, he could have been a hater and said, oh, no, I don't have him winning. I don't think this is going to go on.
Right.
No, so no, he calls it right down the middle, and he's a very intelligent person, historian, especially when it comes to the sport of boxing. He does his homework on today's fighters, yesterday's fighters, and even looks into the future fighters. And we need people like that in the sport. After the fight, when Taylor and Regaru, Prograis, when they were embracing and showed that respect, that's exactly what the sport needs. That's what makes me feel awesome and beautiful to be a part of this sport.
That's it. He left it all in the ring. It was
Yeah.
all business. Whatever the lead up was business. And you go back and you guys are both human. And you guys both go back to your lives and respect each other. That's just how it is.
Hey, man, I'm going to put you on the hot seat right now, man. We got the crusher, Kovalev. Anything he touches, man, he basically crushes. And I know Golden Boy took the opportunity, one, because, hey, let's go get this 175-pound belt. Two, he's still a name and a factor. Three, we kind of feel he's on his way out. And this is boxing. I understand that. Him and Canelo, man. What are the keys to victory for Canelo, and who do you have in this fight winning?
Well, going forward, I think that Canelo's going to win this fight. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I think that Canelo might even be able to stop him towards the later rounds. That's my personal opinion,
Okay.
because I do think that Kovalev is on his way out and hasn't looked good his last two fights.
Excuse me.
That's my personal opinion. I think Canelo needs to go out there and start pressing early and work that body early, because from the past it doesn't seem like Kovalev likes to take very good body shots.
No.
I know that he's the smaller guy, so it's going to take him a few rounds to adjust to that distance. But I think that going forward, I think that Canelo's going to go and do what he usually does, and pretty much do what he did to Golovkin in a way, and in the second fight, that is.
Yeah.
And counter and use his head movement and counter the bigger guy and push him back.
I agree with you. Now, okay, I'm going to put the hot hat on you. Now, you're in the corner of Kovalev. You got Kovalev now. What are the keys to victory in order for Kovalev to pull up the upset, even though he's a champion, because you have Canelo the favorite?
I think he needs to go out and use his jab and what's it called, and use his body weight. He's the bigger guy. He's a taller guy, so he needs to
Impose his
reach,
will. Yeah, exactly.
get off the
Impose
rope
his will.
and control that center. And he needs to use that reach and his size to his advantage. And it's the biggest key for me. And go out there and do what he always does, and that's crush what's in front of him.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Do you think Canelo's able to stop Kovalev within the 12 rounds? Do you see it going 12 rounds at all?
It could. The only reason why I think it goes 12 rounds is because, Kovalev is a lot bigger, taller, just a bigger man, period. But I do think that he can stop him if he goes to work early on that body.
Yeah.
I think that he might be able to chop the tree down within 8 to 12 rounds.
Okay. And what about King Ryan? I mean, he's the co-main event. Signs this awesome extension, this big money deal with Golden Boy, as if to say, hey, you're not going anywhere. We're going to lock you in here. We're going to take care of you. Now take care of business.
Well, he needs to go out and work on what he's been working on. I noticed that he's doing a lot better technical-wise now that he's with the Reynoso camp out there with Canelo in San Diego. I do notice that they're keeping him in a straight line, and that he's looking a lot better in his last couple fights. It's going to be interesting seeing him go against Duno. But I think that, again, he's going to do what he does, and he's going to be too fast and too strong for Duno.
Yeah.
But I do see this going the full distance, I think.
Okay. Well, that's fair to say. And a quick plug for our Fresno zone, Mark Castro, he was in camp with Ryan Garcia and the whole Canelo camp. He went all the way down to San Diego. Future Olympian here in Fresno, California. So he went and get some work in there. Do you know Mark Castro at all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, from the Fresno area, went down there and got some work in. And, anybody in Fresno trying to get out of this area and try to make a name for themselves in the sport of boxing, man, I always support Even though, I mean, that kid's hard to get a hold of, man. I mean, he's always busy. I understand that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I know him from the amateurs.
Yeah.
And I know that he throws a lot of punches. He comes forward a lot, and you know what? It's worked for him to a few. It seems like a few world championships. So he just does what he does, and I'm proud of that kid.
No, he's doing it, man. He got a good got a good head on his shoulders, and he's heading in the right direction, and he's doing the things that he needs to do, and the future looks bright for him. I'm curious to see what he's going to do, who he's going to work with, because I know he has options, just like our kid, our heavyweight from Tulare, Richard Torres Jr., who I'm also excited about, and the impact he's going to make in his young career.
Sweet.
So when is Golden Boy, or when are you coming around this area? Fresno, California, or even Bakersfield, or even the Stockton area?
I'm not sure at the moment. I don't know that there's any events that I'm going to be going to in that area. That means that I definitely have to put aside time to come to that area just so I can meet up with you guys and do another show with you guys.
Absolutely. We got to get you in studio, my man. That's the whole thing. We got to make it fun. We got to get you in studio.
I know we've been trying to do it for the last 2 years or so, but we definitely got to make it happen this time.
No, definitely, man. And like I said, man, I mean, you come from a great base of the family. I'm going to be looking forward to your fight. We're going to help promote it because we have we have that poster there. Yeah, we're going to keep pushing it. And you got to remember, in media, you got to be strategic, okay? When we got the big Carnelo fight, I'm not going to put your poster up right now. Okay, there it is there. Every other minute, you got to let that wave go because everything's all Carnelo right now. Everything's all Diaz right now.
Right.
You got to be very
put in the back.
Exactly. It's like if I had this hot movie that I've been working on, I'm a producer, okay, and I'm getting ready to release my movie. I'm not going to do it when you got the new Rambo movie coming out. I'm not going to do it when you got the new John Wick movie coming out because we'll get crushed. We'll get overlooked. You know what I mean? Let that die down, then boom. It's tornado time, baby, and the warnings are there. I mean, there's blizzards coming up. They don't know what's going on. They don't know if it's an earthquake warning. They don't know if the time change has something to do with it. The weather, and all of a sudden I see this tornado and I see your big freaking head on there, and it's letting everybody know I'm here and I'm coming, and I'm going to dismantle every single thing in my sight as soon as I hear that bell ring.
That's it. I mean, we're going to definitely go out there to push this fight, and I'm excited to go out and make that Golden Boy debut on DAZN.
That's old school right there.
And my whole team is excited.
I'm playing that old video footage, man. That's old school right there. Actually, that's the first time I saw you. I don't know if you're watching. We played that old video, that old weigh-in in Oregon. And that was a great night. And I want to talk about that. Okay, listen. You see this dude wearing a mariachi hat. He's getting ready to come in. And I'm thinking he's getting ready to drop some freaking mariachi music or something. And you came into like, what was it, Led Zeppelin or AC/DC or something, or Metallica?
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was on purpose. There was actually a mix-up in the music at that fight. My opponent came out with my song, and I came out with his song. But you know what?
I thought it worked out, man.
We ran with it, and it worked.
It did.
So.
It did. I remember that. I was like, okay, get on down. I said, right on.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, that was an accidental hiccup.
Yeah.
And they apologized for it. They knew what was going on, and they didn't know what was going on. But yeah, that was a mix-up, and we took it and we ran with it. So it worked for us, and they loved it too. So.
Hey, man, sometimes you just got to go with the flow, and you never know what you'll come out with, man. Plain and simple, period.
That's it.
So I want to ask you this, man. What does the year look like for 2020 as far as them keeping you busy? What's your schedule like? Do you got certain fights lined up? Is it accordingly to your condition after your fight? What's your schedule look like for 2020?
I know I'm going to be fighting 4 times a year.
Okay.
From now on. That's about all I know from right now. I know that I'm going to be, pretty much what I just did in this fight. I'm going to go to camp, probably, take a week or 2 off and go right back at it again. This is that time where I got to stay busy, and I'm on the platform where I can stay busy and people will see my fights. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to use it to my advantage, and we're just going to stay busy for these fights.
I mean, they got the plan laid out for you, man, and you're willing and looking forward to just mixing it up, man. Because I know you always want to be tested. Like every other fighter, they want to be tested. They want to really ask themselves and answer the questions. Answer the own question. Where am I in this division? Where am I worldwide? Where am I at this point in my career? And where are you at this point in your career, comparing to where you were last year?
Well, every day I'm getting stronger. I'm getting faster. I'm just getting better at the craft. So from a year ago, I mean, I'm a completely different fighter. I've done a few camps now with Freddie Roach in that gym downstairs, and I've definitely taken different things from different places. And I'm a whole different fighter, and I'm excited to go out and show what I can do this November.
I like the way you said downstairs. That's the special one where he has that lock.
Yeah, that's it.
Where all the greats have walked through there, worked out in there, left all their blood, sweat, and tears inside of that area.
That's it. And like I said, he brings us the best work, and we go out and we test ourselves every single time. And I'm excited, and I'm happy with the performances I put in the ring, and it's going to be a good fight.
Well, we're looking forward too. Now I got to ask you: are you a UFC fan? Do you watch UFC at all?
I don't watch UFC at all. The only time that I'll even turn on UFC, honestly, is if I have a friend that is just in the UFC that's from the same city that I'm from, and that's Ricky Simone.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the only time that I ever turn it on is to watch him fight.
Well, you got this crazy guy, Masvidal, and Diaz. They're fighting this Saturday, man. I mean, in the name of the bout is called the baddest motherfucker. That's the name of the bout. That's the initial. They made their own title up because that's basically what these two dudes are, man. They're some bad dudes. And they're actually making the bout, and whoever wins the fight, The Rock is going to come and bring it in, and just they're hyping up the event. It's going to take place in New York City, man. So if there's ever a UFC fight that you're going to watch, I advise you, try to watch that one, exactly. And don't blink. And don't blink. Unfortunately, you know, it's on the same day as Canelo. But the way it's designed, I think the Canelo fight is going to be over by the time the Diaz fight takes place. Because the New York Times would have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We definitely might have to go and find that fight somehow.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, how excited are you right now? Because I know you're in training camp and stuff, but I mean, you're heading down to Las Vegas, Nevada. MGM Grand does not get any better than that. I like to call that place my home because whenever I'm there covering a fight, man, I'm all business, and I just feel comfortable there.
Well, I'm super excited. I've actually never been to a fight in the MGM, so this is going to be my first time going to one, and now that I have the opportunity, I'm very, very, very excited to go in and soak in the fights that I usually would watch on TV. That I get to watch them in person now.
That's it, man. I mean, that's quite an experience you're getting. And I know Pops is pretty amped up too, man. What's Pops' take on that? Are you guys flying down there?
No, we're driving down there.
Okay.
We're driving down there. We have a car that we're going to have. And, yeah, he's super excited just like I am. It's going to be his first time too, and like I said, we're going to be watching the fights that we would usually watch on TV. We're going to watch them in person, and it's just a whole different atmosphere in person. And I know that from fighting myself.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's cool because when you walk right in there, they got the ring set up right by the Lion. You know, when you check in that store to the left of it, man, they got all their gear. They'll have some fight shirts there, man. It's just a cool atmosphere that's just full of energy, man. It's going to be crazy. The last time I went there for a big fight, I believe it was Conor McGregor. No, I'm sorry. It was Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman. Prior to that, it was Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. But the energy there, man, it's just unreal. It's crazy.
I'm looking forward to it, that's for sure.
There you are, my man. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you taking time because you took time out of your schedule because usually Wednesdays work better. The last time I spoke to your dad, but he said, no, Richard, let's make this happen. And, you know, because we had to work with each other's schedules. And I said, there's no better time than now. I want to book this kid. I want to get him in here right before his big fight, man. And I want to show support and be exactly who I am. My pleasure, man. Anything you got to say to all the friends and family and followers that support you?
Well, I just want to say thank you to you, Richard, and to everyone that's been following me over the last 14 years of my boxing career. You know, now is the time, and now is the time that, you know, I get to go out and perform, and I'm very excited to go out and show everyone what I can do.
Hey, man, we're right here, man, and the sky's the limit. Again, I'm going to be talking about your fight week of and making sure that we market as best that we can on our side. And hey, let the boss know, give him our best here at the Fighter's Voice, man. We got to someday get him and his whole crew. We had Robert Diaz on the show, and he spoke highly of you. He said that was a very fun signing, and that kid needed to be signed by Golden Boy. And if you can look through the archives. We had him about maybe, I want to say about 5 weeks ago. And he said good things about you and your family.
I think I watched it, actually.
Then you already know.
Yeah, I think I like to watch your stuff, so I think that I did.
Thank you.
Well, it wasn't a watch. I think I could only listen to it.
Yeah, well, that's just as good, man. I appreciate that.
I did listen to it.
Right on, man. But no, I'll let you get back to what you're doing, and let your pops know. I'll probably get a hold of him. When are you guys leaving? This week sometime?
Yes, we leave this week. So
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly when, but we leave this week, and I'll definitely let him know that you guys are going to be getting in touch.
Oh, hey, sounds good, man. Hey, as always, man, every fighter has a voice, and so do you, Victor. And continue to do what you're doing, man. And sky's the limit for you. Love having you on the show, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Of course. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, Victor Morales Jr., my gosh. I mean, sky's the limit. You know, KP, when you just see a talented actor like in your field, you already know, okay, he or she has talent. They're going to go on and to bigger films, bigger budgets, a bigger stage, a bigger platform. This kid sky is the limit. Comes from a great family, a great foundation, and he continues to grow mentally, physically, and spiritually. And he's signed with a great corporation, Golden Boy. And yeah, I do want to say this. After I get my water there. It feels good to run solo, man. You could say more. But it's all good. I do miss my co-host. I do miss Carol. Co Escovedo will come in back in studio tomorrow because we're going to have, I believe we're going to have Max Payne Griffin. He's from the Sacramento area. And he's familiar with the Lemoore area. He's won a couple bouts there, local bouts there. And now he's in the big show UFC. But before we talk about that, I want to talk more about Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor. That fight was awesome. Both men left everything inside of the ring. That was a fight that needed to take place in the style that it needed to take place in. Now, had Juan won by knockout, yeah, that'd have been great. They make a statement and they make a great calling as if to say, okay, Jose, I'm ready for you. Let's unify this belt. But when you got two great warriors in there, two great champions, and that's exactly what you had. You had champion versus champion. And only one person came out victorious with the other man's belt. They left everything inside of the ring. And I give Regis props, first of all, for going all the way down to the UK, going out of his comfort zone. The fight could have he could have demanded and say, no, let's keep it in the States. Let's go fight in New York. Let's make it happen over here. He didn't think twice. He actually ran down to London. And he told me in the interview, he said, Richard, that's a no-brainer. I want to go down there. I mean, you live one time, and why not challenge yourself? Why not, if you say you're the best, conduct yourself as such and take every opportunity that you have to show yourself exactly on how good you are in your craft. Josh Taylor made me a believer. I mean, right from the get-go, he imposed his will on Regis. He let him know, hey, I'm the bully tonight. Regis had very much success with the jab. The jab was working for him. I wanted him to follow up more and maybe invest more in the body. But Taylor was not going to be denied that night. And Regis caught him flush, clean. And I thought towards the end that Regis needed to at least score a knockdown, to at least get a draw, or maybe have one of the judges rule it the other way. Because one did rule it a draw, and one ruled it, it was completely, far-fetched. One judge had it completely, Josh Taylor wiping out the whole fight. Something like 10 rounds to 2. I don't know what that judge was doing or what that judge was drinking, or certainly wasn't paying attention to the fight that we all were watching. And one judge had, I believe, 116, 114. Boxing needs more fights like this. Boxing needs more champions like Regis, like Josh Taylor. Fresno's Own has a champion as such. Fresno's Own has a man who is willing and ready to take on the entire world. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, Jose Ramirez. He's calm, collective, and he has all the tools. And what I can't stand is when our own area right here, I'd rather have them keep their mouth shut than to say things that are not true, to say things that are far-fetched about a man who's done everything that he needs to do conducts himself on the way he needs to conduct himself as a true professional, that's Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez has a lot of supporters. So even the haters that are out there talking negative things about him that don't know the man inside and out, they're supporters too, because they continue to say his name, and in doing so, the fanfare continues to grow. But at the end of the day, he is who he says he is. Now, when he takes on Josh Taylor, I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. I think Josh Taylor is going to have some success. But Jose Ramirez just has that, I don't want to use the word possess. I don't want to use that. He just has that that will, that tenacity to do whatever it takes to put himself in that danger zone where he can land his big shots, and that's the body shots, that's the big right hand. He's going to set traps. He's going to lateral movement left and right. He can box all day long, but he chooses to use his power. He chooses to impose his will and be the bully in there, and I'm looking forward to that fight. Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor. I don't see it taking place anytime soon because I know Jose has a mandatory February 2nd, as well as Josh Taylor's going to, he has some mandatories when that stuff comes available. My whole thing is how the promotion is going to take place with the Bob Arum, the Eddie Hearn, the UK, the Top Rank, hey, let's just make it happen, man. The fans need to see that fight. If Spence and first of all, Spence needs to get well, get fully recovered. But people used to talk about Spence and Bud Crawford. If that's not going to get taken care of, or we're not going to unify any of these titles, one fight that we need to unify, and that is Jose Ramirez, and that is Josh Taylor. Give Josh Taylor the opportunity to take all 4 bouts back to London. Give Jose Ramirez the opportunity to be the undisputed 140-pound king, just as Bud Crawford was before he moved up. Both men need that opportunity rather sooner than later. Why am I talking about this? Because I don't want this fight to get old. I don't want one of these guys to take a mandatory and get beat. I don't want something to happen with these governing bodies or these promoters, one piss off the other, and it never happened. Who loses? The fans. Not only the fans, but the fighters. And I like the way they've been working together. I like the way Top Rank's been crossing over and working, and vice versa. And Lou DiBella would have worked with anybody. So had Regis won, that fight would have been easier to make. And now that Josh Taylor has won, I thought for sure he'd want to stay in the UK. But his first words were, hey, Jose Ramirez, let's make it happen. So he started the snowball effect. Now, Rick Morrigan, he is a promoter trainer, just looking back and smiling and just know a train wreck is about to happen. 2 champions at their best, at their prime. This deserves to be, yes, of course, this is going to be pay-per-view. Where is it going to take place? I don't know. When is it going to take place? I don't know. But the viewers, the fans, man, we need to bring this up. We need to make it happen by voicing our opinion, by voicing that it needs to happen in 2020, not 2021, 2020. Let's make it happen. Like I said, Josh Taylor deserves the right to keep all 4 bouts and take them to the UK. Jose Ramirez needs that opportunity to unify the 140-pound division and be the kingpin at 140 pounds. Because when it's all said and done, you will see him compete at 147s. So that's just my take on that. There's going to be some other changes that want to do with the fighter's voice, man. I'm really looking forward to some of the structure we're going to be doing in the near future on some of the new voiceovers, the new drops, the new ideas that we're going to be doing. Because just like other fighters, we got to continue to grow. But I need to hear from you, the fans and the viewers. I'm also going to be working with Rick Morrigan and giving away some fight tickets. Actually, tomorrow, I'm kind of on the fence. I got to find out what's going on because tomorrow we got a show, but we're invited to go attend a dinner with Jose Ramirez and comedian Andre Cummington. And Rick gave me an invitation. I like to go down there, but at the same time, I got to be true to the show. I know Cole Escovedo could handle the show, but I do got to make that contact. So we'll see what happens, man. Sometimes we got to make these decisions, but sometimes you got to be faithful to your show. And I owe it to you guys because I'll never turn my back on you guys or just leave you guys hanging. I don't care if there's 1 person listening or 1 million listening. So I am who I say I am at the end of the day. And ladies and gentlemen, I do want to let you know that the sport of boxing is taking off. So anybody says that boxing's dead, no, their attitude is dead. But UFC is right there with them, man. And there's not one sport that's better than the other, or UFC's better than boxing, or boxing's better than UFC. And I'm not here to bore you, man. I'm just letting you know, man, we call it right down the middle. When you see it down the middle, we call a spade, a duck, and the rest could just walk, and I don't give a. Okay. And here we are. So here at Mad Production Studios. We're going to be moving to a new studio, I believe, come January. Come 2020, we will be inside a new studio. We're going to have our own booth. There's a lot of things we're going to do. I'm not going to say we're going to do this and that. You know, kind of like when somebody gets a new car, oh yeah, I'm going to put rims on it, or I'm going to get a system in it. Man, it is what it is, and I'm looking forward to that. And what I am looking forward to, and I'm very excited about Carol. She's in the UK. She's in Take Care Business this Saturday, representing the Fighter's Voice. She's making it happen. She created that opportunity by working hard. She got the phone call. Co Escovedo, man, we got some great ideas that we're going to be going hand in hand and working on some cool things together. And all these other podcasts that are out there, man, keep doing what you're doing. I'm a fan. I watch it. I watch all you guys. And I like the way you guys do things, the way you guys put a twist on it. And I appreciate all the compliments and all the feedbacks you guys are giving. Because without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. So today's show, man, I'm going to have to call it a wrap. But I appreciate it. But I do want to give you this before I go. I'm pulling for Diaz, but he's fighting a very dangerous man, And you got to remember, Diaz called him out, which tells me he knows something that a lot of people don't know. I'm pulling for Diaz all the way. He has to be completely careful because of this man's power, but at the end of the day, I got Diaz winning in the second round by submission, so that's my pick. Co Escovedo will probably have a different pick tomorrow on the show. And as far as Canelo and Kovalev, I have Canelo winning in a late round TKO, but with Kovalev having some success early on in the fight. Kovalev, what he needs to do is set him trap, let him bait in, and try to catch him coming in with that right hand. That's the only opportunity that he has. Is he going to outbox Canelo? I don't see that happening. I see Canelo getting hit with some shots as well. I see Kovalev having some success inside of the ring, but Canelo is just a whole different type of person right now. But you will see the size difference once these two match up. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, Canelo will be the new light heavyweight champion of the world. Hey, you heard it first on the Fighter's Voice. I'm Rich Ortiz, your host with the most, and I was giving you the best, that I have. And as always, hey, thumbs up for Richie here in Fresno, California, and it's a wrap.
Never down for the count. It's just another wrap. Thanks for listening to the Fighter's Voice Radio Show. Catch us again next week.
Same when, same how.
And always stay connected to the Fighter's Voice on social media. So, on behalf of special guests and the whole crew right here at the Fighter's Voice Radio Show, saying see ya next week, right here on the Fighter's Voice.